welcome to the 75th edition of the Marex Maritime News. These are the headlines on Monday, 19th of July 2021. Will the shipping subsidy of Rs 1,624 crore provide a boost to the Indian flagged fleet? Connectivity crucial for seafarers' future welfare needs. EU pressurizes the industry to add shipping to its carbon market. IMD warns against complacency with drop in piracy numbers. Expert report on dry markets. Currently, Indian fleet comprises a meager 1.2% of the global fleet in terms of capacity. The share of Indian ships in India's EXIM trade carriage has drastically declined from 40.7% in 1987-88 to 7.8% in 2018-19. This fall has led to an increase in the foreign exchange outgo on freight bill payments to foreign shipping companies in tune to around USD 53 billion in 2018-19 and approximately USD 637 billion during the last 13 years. To overcome this challenge and address the cost disadvantage suffered by Indian flagships, the Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved a scheme to provide Rs 1,624 crore over 5 years as a subsidy to the Indian shipping companies to promote flagging merchant ships in India by providing subsidy support to the Indian shipping companies in global tenders floated by the ministries and the Central Public Sector Enterprises, CPSEs.
Subsidies of any nature is economically inefficient. INSA must have tried a long time and got it. Congrats to them. But let's change the tack. I don't think it's going to sustain for too long. For past good work, fair enough. Chapter closed. Let us address the weakness or drawbacks of Indian shipping, especially after 100% foreign investment was allowed in a way to sell SEI, which is not taken off. From what we know, sovereign risk is a big one, and that affects borrowing at a higher percentage of interest. Probably a subvention, that means some kind of reimbursement of % or 2 for the borrowings, could be an indirect subsidy. Well, that depends on how the funds are managed and how it is accounted, because there is always scope for financial engineering by the not so straightforward. Finance Ministry will not be appreciative of that.
Showcasing its commitment to crew welfare, an Inmarsat-sponsored report explores the future of seafaring up to 2050. The report suggests that epidemics and pandemics may become more common, predicts that crew safety, fatigue, and harassment issues are unlikely to recede in the short term, and foresees the potential for seafarer abandonment and criminalization as growing issues that need to be addressed.
Looking into the current scenario, the COVID-19 pandemic seems to still be very challenging for the maritime industry. This one and a half year has highlighted many issues about seafarers' welfare which came to surface. Port restrictions were strict, repatriation was becoming difficult, which gave rise to a lot of mental health problems also on board, which became very challenging for the companies to face. Various welfare organizations came together collectively to help the seafarers on board. Fatigue being one of the major concerns of the health aspect of seafarers on board due to the extended contracts. There have been seafarers who have been on board over 10 months, 13 months and had still no hope of getting back home. These were the seafarers who actually experienced chronic mental fatigue and also had a bout of anxiety. Uncertainty, which has come about due to this pandemic, showed all the maritime industry that how difficult it could be for the seafarers to stay motivated on board in this difficult time. We all are fully aware of the sacrifices the seafarers make in order to keep the global economy running. And because of that, I think it is even more important for all the companies to understand the importance of taking care of their mental and physical well-being on board. The future, which comes with a lot of technological changes, is also used in order to keep the seafarers mentally stable on board. Connectivity, which has been an issue in the past, can be now resolved, keeping in mind the changing scenario of the global economy. As we are in the digital era, I think it's very important to look into the connectivity of seafarers, not only with the family and loved ones, but also with other services which could help them to aid their mental health on board. Providing welfare services through counseling, through having them to call and use helpline numbers which would allow them to feel and vent out whenever they feel it's important. By providing and enhancing connectivity on board, one can look into different areas which could help the seafarers on board in future. Firstly, providing them with counseling services, helpline numbers where they could call and get help in case they are going through any kind of psychological distress or mental health problems on board. Secondly, a digital platform could be used for professional development of seafarers on board, where they could be a part of onboard training through this digital media. And third, most important I feel, is connectivity with family and loved ones. These three areas would really help to keep the motivation and morale of the seafarers high on board, even if they would have to serve an extended period of contract. It is rightly said that when seafarers are happy and when they're mentally fit on board, the ship is a safer ship. So I think it directly correlates with the safety aspect on board, as every human's psychological health, if it is positive and thriving, it would help in maintaining a good work-life balance on board. So yes, with the future of seafaring and fair treatment for seafarers, I feel enhancing connectivity would be one very good area in which the seafarers could get help through various aspects. So overall, it will not only help them fight the social isolation on board, but it will also keep them connected with the outside world.
Greetings everyone from 3Q Medicare. I would first like to thank Marex for giving us this opportunity to talk about how connectivity is key to seafarer welfare. When we try to understand communication and welfare, it's important to understand the evolution of communication. And so communication first was something when people got together, sat around a table, sat together, discussed things. There was a great impact in that kind of communication. People expressed their feelings. Of course, that was much lesser in frequency, but there was a great impact to that. It was a de-stressor for most people. We then moved to communication which became by email. And what we saw when emails came in, they had greater impacts, they were quick, they became very personal. That's when we started looking into our own emails. People waited in time to go and check their inbox, which had their password. Expression was more described rather than felt, and the frequency was not that much because email wasn't that easily accessible. Of course, these days it's on the click of a button. What happened is people looked forward to it, but there was a sense of anxiety, hoping that next day they have a reply, or in a few hours they have a revert. When we come to communication in today's day and age, it's something that has had the greatest impact. We're always connected to our phones. We are sending emails. It has a great social impact. It has great personal impact. The unfortunate part is that the expression is now perceived rather than felt or described. The frequency has become immediate. We're always looking for those two double ticks on WhatsApp, or we're looking at if someone has read our message on some other platforms, or why haven't people replied. It's also become addictive, and people have gone more distant. So from people sitting on a round table and having a conversation, feeling their expressions, feeling the emotions, it's gone to people looking into their phones, and even while sitting together, and sometimes even sending a message across to each other when they are just maybe one hand apart. What this has done is it's created greater anxiety and has become a stressor to some extent, yes. But there are also positives to all of this. If we look at expression, the evolution of expression through these communication modes, at the very start, when we had an expression as to this is very funny, we would actually laugh together and there would be the whole room would light up. When it came to emails and we wanted to express this is very funny, we would smile while typing and perhaps describe the emotion that we're feeling. But in today's day and age, in today's communication, this is funny, maybe, maybe not. I don't know what to reply. And the standard response to that we see from many people is LOL, which stands for laugh out loud, with absolutely no expression most of the times. Of course, this is a generalization, but a large aspect of communication has become expressionless, has become something which is more to send an immediate reply rather than actually feel the emotion and provide a response. Moving on to the next part, key components to seafarer welfare. One of the key parts to seafarer welfare is initiatives, leadership, vision, processes and checks, continued awareness and reach, quality medical assistance, quality access to certified and qualified professionals, feedback, and an important tool as well as a requirement is connectivity. Now, when we look at connectivity, did you know that it takes approximately 13,500 messages to actually cover a data of 1 MB? So how does this span in or relate to welfare? Well, it's important for us to come up with smarter initiatives which are with easier communication tools, data light applications. It's very, very important that we don't bulk up or add up the cost in communication, because you know that in communication everybody has a different way of talking. Some people can send a message in 2 words, some take maybe 25 words. Qualified experience assistance from shore. This is extremely important so that your message going back is crisp as well as well accepted. Training of people to accept and to communicate better, as well as feedback, and it's a continuous effort. It's not something that can be done one day and not the next. Coming to the last part is we also need to ensure that the initiatives are that provide reassurance to the seafarers, not only when they're on the ship, but also for their families who are back home. And that will give them a great boost. And one such initiative that we at 3Cube are fortunate enough to be doing with FOSMA and MASA is the 3Cube Reach program. And there again, connectivity is essential. Connectivity is a tool, but along with connectivity, it's very important to have a continuous and an absolutely professional approach to providing welfare for our seafarers in a holistic manner. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very, very much for your time.
The European Commission has proposed adding shipping to the bloc's carbon market for the first time, adding pressure on an industry which had, for more than a decade, avoided European Union's system of pollution charges to become greener.
Climate change is the biggest challenge of our times, and there is an opportunity to build a new economic model. It is my opinion that IMO has made a relatively slow progress in the implementation of various measures and even encouraging the innovations in the carbon intensity indicator. And now EU has put in place this wide data collection measures which through IMO action plans will combine technical and operational approaches to improve the operational efficiency. Now it is learned that the ships will get a rating of energy efficiency A or B, C, D and E, where A will be considered the best. So this stands as a strong signal to the market. Administrations, port officials, stakeholders will now be encouraged to provide incentive to ships like A or B. And a ship which is rated lower may be required to submit a corrective action plan to indicate how the required index of carbon intensity indicator will be achieved. So my views are that there is a significant untapped potential to reduce shipping emissions cost effectively. Many technical measures such as slow steaming, weather routing, contra-rotating propellers, and propulsion efficiency devices can deliver more savings than the investment required. International shipping is a large and growing source of greenhouse gas emissions, and now Europe may be the first climate neutral continent in the world to achieve and make the EU's economy fit to reach the climate targets very soon. In fact, the European Green Deal has set the blueprint for this transforming change. The new proposals will have an impact across the entire value chain in these sectors besides shippings, such as energy and transport, construction and renovations, helping to create sustainable local and well-paid jobs across Europe. And this will further exert a new influence on other industrial nations and their financial tech sectors, and also increase the pressure on these nations that remain climate spoilers.
Needs of shipping are vast. Needs for supplies and services are not always predictable, but certainty is critical. So certainty is a must on deliverables, besides time and location. Welcome to InShip. It's operated by mariners and operated for mariners. InShip is a digital platform for mariners, suppliers, service providers, and consultants. We facilitate marketplaces across oceans to ensure ease of trade for making ship supplies and services happen. We at InShip embrace digital transformation to bring in certainty. InShip is a platform with port-specific suppliers and service providers. This marketplace is accessed by shipping companies and mariners to place order for deliveries at their port of call. If you are a mariner, then InShip is your go-to contact for your supplies and services needs. Our goal is making your trade happening promptly, anywhere. For suppliers, we create sea of opportunities. We help suppliers improve sales with global visibility and access buyers with swift response to RFPs and online procurement. We promote mariners, the next-gen transformation, and accelerate the delivery process. We provide digital platform, a marketplace of all shipping needs, streamline suppliers, enhance access to service providers and bring in ease of trade. InShip vision is to drive invention, to enhance seamless procurement with high-tech platform, and enable smart trade, while creating a trustable marketplace. InShip gives access to vendors and service providers, a platform to onboard a broad range of shipping needs. Mariners can come with confidence to access the listed offerings. With more and more vendors getting listed, and more mariners actively making procurements, InShip as a marketplace unleashes endless possibilities of digitalizing the shipping needs. With future needs of shipping industry as our focus, InShip is building artificial intelligence-driven platform to proactively predict the shipping needs. InShip keeps actively onboarding more vendors across ports, deploy AI and ML solutions to advise on spend patterns, and creating thought leadership to enable sea trade with intelligence. We bridge the needs of mariners with qualified vendors and consultants in making our vision a reality, in being a smarter procurement enabler. Within SHIP, we look forward to work together in creating digital platform and partner in mutual growth with next-gen intelligence. Please get in touch with us. A sea of opportunity awaits mutually. Log on now to inship.com.
The IMB on Tuesday released its latest global piracy report, detailing 68 incidents of piracy and armed robbery against ships in the first 6 months of 2021, the lowest total since 1994, and down from 98 incidents during the same period last year. While encouraging, IMB urges caution against overconfidence, especially in the Gulf of Guinea, which continues to pose the highest risk to the seafarers.
The International Maritime Bureau, in its quarterly 2 report of 2021, has mentioned that about 68 attacks have happened in the last quarter, of which about 50 crew were kidnapped, and sadly one of the crew was also killed in that incident. The piracy incidents have been decreasing off the Gulf of Guinea and across the world, which is very good news. But at the same time, the seafarers need not be complacent about it, and they need to upkeep their guards. If they find any suspicious activity happening, they need to inform the relevant authorities and report the incident immediately. They need to be prepared, as well as prepare their fellow colleagues on board as well on how to deal with the situations of piracy incidents. The Nigerian government has also launched a deep sea project, which is trying to increase the infrastructure of the Gulf of Guinea waters, wherein the piracy and the other security threats can be mitigated. The Gulf of Guinea Shade has also held its first meeting on the 14th July, wherein the Iceland is also one of the members of that particular group. And this group is also visioning to reduce the number of incidents and to provide safer waters of the Gulf of Guinea so that the ships and seafarers can feel safer to trade in. We really welcome the initiatives taken at the regional level to safeguard and protect the seas.
Now, our weekly dry market report direct from the experts.
Before we analyze the market today, let us revisit what we had said on the 8th of March earlier this year. The year-to-date numbers for all the segments are continuing to go up and moving towards the JM supercycle zone. On the left side, the graph of dry bulk market in Q2 is quite impressive. Are we going to see this trend further strengthen? The signs are good. With the commodity boom, shipping generally benefits, especially when the supply is tight, and that is what we are seeing today. However, with this comes the inevitable side effect, inflation, which sometimes invites intervention by the authorities. Shipping stocks took a beating from the uncertainty induced by Biden executive order directing the FMC, Federal Maritime Commission, to vigorously enforce the prohibition of unjust and unreasonable detention and demurrage charges. While the World Shipping Council emphasized that the ocean carriers are employing all available capacity and pulling out all the stops to manage the operational disruptions brought on by COVID-19, this is not the fault of any supply chain actor. Supply chains simply cannot efficiently handle this extreme demand surge. Let us see how it unwinds or unfolds. On the dry bulk side, 14th of July saw the worst day in 7 weeks with declining rates on the remaining days of the week. Cape paper rallied on the 15th but gave up some of the gains on Friday the 16th. There appears to be some lag in marking the index and the real market fixtures. So, we may see a decent markup on the index early this week. Panamax paper traded range bound while Supramax paper did well to end the week. With more buyers than offers, we expect the YTD average to continue to go up and gradually move into the JM supercycle range. The main driver of the major bulk, iron ore, the prices are firm and expected to remain so due to the imbalance between very high or robust demand and supply side, which is struggling to keep pace with consumption. Australian miners are operating at or close to their capacity, and this combined with weather disruptions may result in very little room for growth in supply this year. On the demand side risk, China may look to rein in its steel industry and cut emissions, and this could increase downward pressure on the iron ore prices. In any case, we do expect a booming iron ore shipping demand. The shortage in availability of Australian and Brazilian iron ore is expected to result in marginal increases from other iron ore sources such as Canada, South Africa, India, and Chile, and this will add to the ton miles, which is positive for the Cape market. Demand for coal is unrelenting, with expected 4.5% growth this year, and more than half of this growth is coming from China. India is benefiting from cheaper Australian coal, whereas China received its coal from Indonesia, Russia, Colombia, and South Africa. Even Cape sizes are getting a larger share of this coal to China. A very strong grain trade so far this year has benefited the Panamax and Supramax markets. Import of soybean and other products, namely corn, wheat, barley, sorghum into China, so far in 2021 is up by 12.8% and 271.5% year on year. Going forward, sale of corn from US to China is also expected to be firm in the coming quarter. Commodities such as clinker, limestone, and aggregates from Persian Gulf are being shipped at freight levels more than the cost of the product itself. The export volumes continue to go up even at these levels. The effect of these high prices may result in high levels of inflation, high rates of inflation, and may ask for interventions as we are already seeing in US with the Biden executive orders. On the supply side, the situation continues to be tight with limited order book, slow steaming, port congestions, etc. Another factor looming in the background is the installation of the ballast water treatment system for compliance. Many ships have their due dates in 2022, and this may take away ships from the market and possibly also result in congestion in the repair yard.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for watching. See you all next Monday.